right, welcome back to The Link, everybody. Joining us now in the KUM News Zoom room, a good friend of the program, someone that I have personally not seen in a while. Richard Hart has forgotten more about the restaurant industry than most of us will ever remember. And I'm sure, Rich, first of all, good to see you, man. Longtime friend and everything. I'm sure you would like to forget a lot of what we've gone through in the last 18 months. But, you know, as they say in business and in life, you know, knowledge is power. And, you know, so first of all, how have you been? Everybody that knows you knows how many, you've opened, what, 50 some restaurants over the years here on Guam?
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, I've been, I went to college for, I went to culinary school. So the restaurant business is my chosen profession. And I went right out of college with Outback Steakhouse and, became part of a opening group with them. So that was where most of my experience has come from. And then here in Guam, I've been fortunate enough to be part of some exciting things that I think people, enjoy, some more than others, right? Mm-hmm. Customers can be fickle. So everybody has their preferences. So, I've been in the restaurant business for 35 years. Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I'm sure people are watching this right now, like on Facebook Live, and you're kind of like, pardon the expression, but you're kind of like that guy for Guam Restaurant. It's like, oh yeah, like I went to biology, and he was behind the counter, like in years past, he was a submariner. He's done like all these things and everything, and you've always been like a real hands-on manager. And
sorry.
Oh yeah, and I think by that merit and everything like that, you've got such good expertise on what we've been through and when it comes to restaurant operations over the years and what might actually be in the very foreseeable future and everything. So maybe give us some context about what the last year and a half and change has meant for your business.
Well, I mean, I think the important thing to note is that they're still here. They're all still there. We haven't closed any properties yet due to the COVID fallout. And again, there has been a significant amount of support from our federal government to help mitigate some of the financial fallout. But it's been, a bit of a ride. As last March, everything happened so quickly. We went from relative normalcy, and I think the whole of Guam, by the time, our first COVID case arrived in Guam, there certainly was plenty of discussion going on that, hey, is this thing gonna miss us, right? Are we gonna get out of this? Because nobody really had any idea that 18 months later, not only would COVID still be a daily part of our lives, but that it would be this, right? That we would still be in the middle of growth, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. And then when that first case arrived, right, we went from Sunday night, I always tell people I was sitting at my dinner table having dinner, and my phone, like 50 text messages went off at one time. My phone just started going ding, 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 ding. And I told my wife, hey, you know what? Let's just let that ring away, but I'll bet you that's our first COVID case.
Sabrina and I were down at Civil Defense when that was happening. We were covering that.
So there it was, 3 people, right? One from the Philippines, one from here. And then Monday we were closed. Monday we were all trying to strategize on what to do. And by Tuesday, all of our businesses has been closed. And we were only permitted to do takeout. That happened on, I think it was announced that we needed to do it by Wednesday, but I was a little bit ahead of it and said, starting on Tuesday of that week, we're just going to start doing takeout only, just because that's where all the other states were going. So I figured that was what was going to happen with us. And we were fortunate during that period that the community was very supportive to restaurants at that time. So a lot of people were coming out and getting takeout, especially at, one of our bigger brands with Applebee's. We did a lot of like family style dining platters, and we got a lot of support from people on that. And, we're very appreciative of it. But as time has gone on, eating food out of a metal tray gets kind of old, right? And then obviously we spent 2 months in that situation and reopened on Memorial Day weekend to limited capacity guests. And then 2 months, and then we were back. Basically, that was about a year ago today, I think, was when we went back to takeout only again. And then obviously that ran in well into January before we had any significant amount of seating available for guests to come in. So, and then the last like 9 months of the crawl back from that have been relatively okay. You know, I think in our culture here in Guam, and, you know, I've lived here for close to 22 years now. So our culture, we like to go out to eat. We like to socialize with each other. You know, and the way our socioeconomic data adds up, sometimes it's cheaper to go out to eat than it is to go shopping and make dinner, you know. And then, you know, we've got Sabrina here, who's a working mom. Sometimes you just don't want to have to cook at night, you know, or working dads, you know, like whoever does the cooking, you know, it's sometimes you just don't want to. Sometimes it's, you know, we're celebrating a special occasion. Today's my son's 9th birthday, so happy birthday to my son, Lindsay. And you know, tonight, of course, we want to go out, you know, so it's part of life, you know. Part of life is being able to go out and have dinner with friends, have a drink, relax, you know, let somebody else wait on you, and depending on what, you know, type of occupation we have. But, you know, the one thing that I think people realized during this COVID period is how many people are employed in the restaurant and hospitality industry in Guam at some level.
That's a perfect segue, Rich, because I was going to say, you know, and you actually kind of taught me this years ago when you and I were just, you know, talking once in one of your restaurants, and you said, you know, if you're getting into this business, you have to know how to manage a fair amount of stress. So that having been said, what has the last couple of weeks been on your blood pressure with, you know, the restrictions and, you know, then the changing nature of them?
Yeah.
And, you know,
let's just ask him about the whole the EO that came out Friday, Rich. Monday. How was it for you guys at the restaurant group to have to verify vaccination status for your customers?
Well, we haven't had any issues yet, you know, but if you're referring to like any type of confrontation with a customer, we haven't had any yet, but we are expecting that, right? And to anyone listening, you know, who or watching, who is intending to go out to eat, all I would ask for is just a little bit of patience and understanding with this, right? As you enter a restaurant, you know, whether it be one of mine, of our group at Longhorn, we can use Longhorn Steakhouse as an example, just because it's our newest property and obviously has the highest level of traffic due to it being new. And a lot of the people who work at the front doors in the restaurant as a host, a hostess, they're like, that's an entry level position in the restaurant business, and it really shouldn't be. You know, so if you're going out, if your 16-year-old daughter wants a job or son wants a job, that's where they're going to enter. So if you enter a kitchen, you're generally going to enter as a dishwasher. But if you're entering in the dining room or front of the house, as we call it, you're going to enter as a host or a hostess. And so a lot of times they're young, and any type of interaction with someone can be a little uncomfortable at that position, because nobody ever wants to walk into a restaurant and be told that they can't sit exactly where they want to, or that the size of their party is going to be an hour or an hour and a half for them to be able to sit down, you know, and they're hungry. They want to be seated. So, and right now we're just doing what's instructed to us by the government. And I think it's simple. You know, if anybody just like their screensaver on my phone, you know, you just put it on the screensaver on your phone. And now if you don't want to do that, just sign the attestation that you're vaccinated, you know. So that aspect of it is a little tricky for us because it causes a little bit of a kind of a jam at the front door. You know, and we certainly have had people who've made comments as they've come in, you know, we're violating their liberties and things, but what are we supposed to do? This is what we've been instructed to do, and we have the intention of doing so. And I hope that there's not going to be confrontation with anyone. It's unnecessary. I think it's something that's completely avoidable. I think if you compare, stressful times in Guam to like after a typhoon, everybody just kind of gets along, right? After a typhoon, everybody just we all are sharing in the same thing. And I think in a situation like this, we're all in the same boat. So it's not going to help if you go into a restaurant and you start yelling at some 17-year-old because you don't want to show your vaccine card, or you want to express your political opinions about the way vaccines are being administered. We're not politicians, and neither are they. So, either, unfortunately, and as a restaurant owner, it kills me to have to say it, but if it's something that you're just not willing to do, I would suggest not eating out, at least right now. And
well, kind of the brutal truth is something that we've all had to deal with in all aspects of life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, Rich, we'll give you like the parting shot, because we got to run. We got the hospital administrator coming in, talking about what's going on up there. But again, any words of wisdom you would like to give to not only your own employees and your own diners, but people across the food industry and hospitality industries about just weathering this latest storm?
Well, first, I'm not a doctor or a medical expert, but I would encourage people who are not vaccinated to get vaccinated. So I think it's the only way for us to get out of this. And secondly, the restaurant industry needs people's support. We need you to come out to eat. We need you to get takeout food. We employ a lot of people directly and indirectly. So not only my company employs 277 people as of this morning. Not only that's direct employment with people who work specifically for any one of our operations, but the companies that deliver us food, that deliver us beverages, that deliver us gas, that pick up the trash, that clean the parking lots, that, there's so many different, our pest control services, our maintenance services. There's so many people that are indirectly employed by the restaurant and hospitality industry. And we need your support, because make no mistake, the restaurant industry in Guam is in absolute peril, whether that's through the spread of a virus, whether that's through a sharp rise in the cost of the food that we sell, whether it's through a raise in minimum wage that's coming in 5 days. There are so many things that are working against us right now, and we need the support of the community to stay alive. And, as a community, if you're, how many times have you reached out to a restaurant for support during a fundraiser, for a school event, for an after-school program, for a party? How many times have you celebrated a birthday party or a family event? I've been ringing the fire alarm bell for a while that the restaurant business was in grave peril. And as we continue to go through more and more of these situations, it only increases the likelihood that, bad things are going to happen if we can't come together as a community to slow down the spread of COVID, to get the rest of our community vaccinated, and to support our local businesses. And despite what people may feel, all the businesses that my company owns and operates are local. We franchise them from brands that are located in the United States, but they are locally owned and operated. They are employing local people. We are paying local taxes. We are buying local food. So our comparison between something like Longhorn Steakhouse and, say, what any mom and pop Korean, Chinese, or local restaurant that you can find in your neighborhood, it's the same thing. And I know there's a lot of misconception out there. We are not owned by a $1 billion conglomerate from the States. We are locally owned here in Guam. And we need the support just as much as any other business in Guam. So we would hope that people will continue to come out to eat. My company requires vaccinations by September 1st for all staff members. We will be fully vaccinated. We wear masks. We follow every single protocol that there is. So we encourage you, just like Dr. Nien said, restaurants are safe places right now. So please continue to come out to eat, either whether it be through dining in or getting takeout. We need the support of the community right now.
All right, Rich. Well, thank you so much. It's Richard Hart, everybody, someone who is an experienced restaurateur and someone who has always staked his claim on the fact that you were very well nourished. Also giving us some food for thought this morning here on the link. So, Rich, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you,
All right.
Sabrina.
And
Stay safe.
Thanks.
do you want to stay in the Zoom room right now? We got.
No, we're gonna take a break.
Okay, we're gonna take.
Yeah,
a
we're
break.
gonna take a break. We got Lillian Posadas, Guam Memorial Hospital Administrator, and Dr. Ann Pobutsky of Department of Public Health and Social Services. Coming up here on the link, it's brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box. It is Thursday, August 26th. Good morning.
Learn more about our region on the
Looking for
one.
TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KOAM Digital Digest. This